What you're about to see is the date that actually is the follow-up from the number 1 in the infield series here. And actually what happened was got her number, we, back and forth via text, etc., and then took her out on this date. If you want to check out the text, that's in the text supplement, so you can check that out at your leisure if you'd like. This is kind of an interesting scenario for this date in that I normally wouldn't have planned it this way. Generally, I was actually staying at the hotel where I met her in the hotel bar, which sounds really good, but the problem with that logistically is that it's hard to move the girl around a lot other than moving her up to your room. Because if you start at the hotel bar and move her out, it's weird to move her back to the hotel because why would you do that? You just came from there, right? So actually what I really wanted to do was find another place nearby that I could meet with her and then go to the hotel bar and then go up to the room. I actually was under the impression there were multiple bars in this hotel, but they weren't all open, so that didn't really work. And then by the time I got to the hotel, there wasn't really time between when I got there and the date to figure out an alternative option. So it wasn't ideal. And that's why on this date, I actually took a walk around the block ahead of time and I realized there was a Barnes & Noble. So what I did actually is I met at the hotel, took her to Barnes & Noble in the middle of the date, and then brought her back, which wasn't ideal, but at least I was able to have some kind of movement. And I really do like that opportunity for movement in my date logistics. So it's kind of an ancillary point I want to make. I won't be breaking that down in great depth, but the logistics for dates matters tremendously. With that said, though, let's crack into the particulars of this particular interaction. Hey, you.
How are you?
Good. It's fine. You found me. I thought I was going to have to go, organize a search party, figure out my way to you.
I took the subway from Columbus Circle, and it's like crazy right now because of all the Greenwich just finished.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just checking that because like everywhere the people in like their little capes and stuff.
Yeah.
They're superheroes.
Yeah, they are. They definitely are. Because I could not run a fucking marathon.
Fair enough. I mean, you have very little weight to support, so it's less strain on your body.
Yeah, but still running. Don't want to do it.
No, I know. So when I was one of the biggest mistakes of my life. When I was in college, I was a soccer player, but I got injured one year. I ran cross country instead to stay fit. Terrible mistake. Yeah. Awful. Longest I ever ran was 13 miles, and that was when I was in really good shape, like phenomenal shape, like college cross country runner shape. And I woke up, drank a gallon of water, ran 13 miles, went back to bed, and proceeded to have cramps in every part of my body for 6 hours.
Yeah,
it was just fucking horrible.
Yeah. I'm not like any running. Like I'd rather walk it than like run it. No running. No, thank you. I'll pass.
So you're like the kid I made fun of in gym class.
I mean, like no, I like gym, good gym, and
I just give you a hard time. It's alright.
Not good. Yeah. Other sports are better.
Fair enough. You look lovely. Casual yet elegant. Brief little thing to note. So the conversation when we showed up started out pretty casual, right? It didn't start out very man to woman. It just started out way less sort of like bantery and sexual in nature than it was when I had gotten her number before. Whenever you meet a girl anew, you kind of have to start over from scratch again and rebuild it. Now, it's going to build a little faster, oftentimes the second time around, but if you assume that you can pick up where you left off, you're going to make some pretty big mistakes. Also, in particular on dates or day twos, whatever you want to call them, I don't like to start off at a high energy level. Because the problem is if you start off at a high energy level, it can only go down, right? And girls, they're in sort of interacting with you, they don't notice how good it is at that moment. They notice how good it is at that moment relative to how good it was the previous moment. So they don't notice the vibe, they notice the change in the vibe. So if you start at a really, really high level at the start of the date, and it goes down, they're going to think it's a shitty date, even if the energy level is still really, really high, because compared to when they showed up, it's kind of depleted or gone down, right? And so what I actually like to do at the start of a day is I actually start at an inherently, intentionally low level of energy and low level of like engagement and excitement, because then everything is upwards. And so even if the overall vibe isn't so amazing, what they've noticed is that the longer they're with you, the better they feel. The longer they're with you, the better it gets, and so they're associating that change with you. It's kind of an interesting phenomenon, but it's very, very, very useful in having successful dates. The other thing that's great about it is if you're not committing a lot, like not driving the conversation and not like pushing the conversation forward, as much as you don't want to have a bad date, she doesn't want to have a bad date equally as much or more. So if you leave some silences, leave some awkwardness, oftentimes she'll fill those silences, she'll start asking you questions, she'll start gaming you, and that makes dating a whole lot easier than if you're gaming her. So understand that she showed up on the date for a reason, and that reason is partly because she likes you. So assume she likes you, relax, and don't try so hard at the start of the date.
Yeah, just rolled out a bed this way.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Casual.
Yeah, well, fair enough. I'm a little offended you didn't put more effort in for me then, in that case.
Yeah.
I feel I merit a little,
Maybe a little bit. That might have been a brush. But that's, not too much.
Uh-huh. Oh man, you are amusing. I appreciate I also like the squint. How many people in your life have called you out on that squint?
Not a lot.
Really?
Like besides like my
That's
mother.
very funny. Yeah, please, that'd be good. How about a menu? Thank you.
Yeah. Besides like my mother yelling at me for squinting, no one else calls me out on my squinting.
All right, well, I'm in the company of your mother. That's excellent.
Yeah. Mostly it's like because I'm not wearing my glasses, What are you drinking?
I am drinking champagne because I drink champagne all the time, even when there's nothing to celebrate. Yes.
Okay, I can respect that.
But no, I like sweet white wine, so when there's not a sweet white, champagne's a good go-to.
Yeah. You don't like red wine?
I like sweet things, to be completely honest. So
Acceptable, I guess.
I'll do white wines or I'll do cocktails. Like sweet cocktails, I love.
I like that.
So we're sandwiched on the subway amid like 500 sweaty runners. Is that what I'm to believe?
Yeah. Because, they were just like packed full. I was like gonna get the one at first.
Of all the times when I wouldn't take the subway, like I just ran a marathon. I think I could splurge for a taxi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that's why we're gonna take you.
Yeah, because like the pickup and stuff. Yeah, you're right.
And depending on where they live, because like the marathon, they go to every borough. Like they start in fucking Staten Island. Do you recommend anything?
I recommend get whatever type of alcohol you typically like.
Well, I like all types of alcohol.
Do you?
Most.
If it were me, off the top, because I'm into like sweet stuff, I would go with that. But that's
I was
just me.
just looking at that. I think that's what I'm gonna do.
I thought about that. This is also like, if you want to be sweet, but also like not cut your balls off and pretend you're still a man. Old fashioned's a good way to
I
go.
don't like old fashioned.
Well, you're not a man either, so it's fine.
So I'm allowed to get the sparkling peach cosmetic.
Oh, you totally are.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I am too, and I am a man. So.
Yeah. No, anyone's allowed to get it. They won't judge.
I was worried. I thought I was gonna crumble under the scathing judgment of Kristen.
I mean, there's still potential. I said I wouldn't judge your drink choice.
I appreciate that.
Only that area. A lot of other things I can judge.
So you'll notice it's still very, very casual, but it's just starting to gradually ramp up. There's a little more teasing, a little more kidding around, a little more I don't have to qualify myself to you, that kind of stuff. So the banter is going to come back, right? And again, by starting it super, super casual, as the banter ramps up, it feels more and more and more intimate and intense. So many guys, they show up and they're like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And it's just hard to keep that energy up, and it just doesn't really go anywhere. A rule that I have in game is if you're going to go from A to B, the least energy mode from A to B is the highest value route. Okay, so I always want to game at the lowest energy humanly possible to get from A to B. Now, you can't go too low in energy, you have to make it from A to B. But whatever is the lowest energy route from A to B is usually the most effective game. Keep me posted. So where does the snarky sarcasm come from?
Do I have a snarky sarcasm?
A little bit.
Just a little bit? I don't know. I'm a Philly girl. So it's part of our charm, I guess. Is it bad? Am I too sarcastic?
appreciate a little wry wit. If somebody's too much like bubbles and rainbows and sunshine, I can't handle it.
Yeah, no one wants to hear that. Not around ever. Yeah.
Please bring no happiness my way. Especially not before noon.
Yeah.
Like smiles before noon, I just like.
Definitely.
Except you have to wake up early because you're in like, hardcore school and whatnot. You poor girl. Why do you do that to yourself?
I need the degree.
So, honest question from someone who dropped out of school 1 credit away from graduating, started a business, and is very happy.
Okay.
So maybe a biased, honest question, if you will.
Okay.
Do you think that suddenly when you get a degree and get a job, like, your life's going to be 1,000,000% better?
No.
Okay. Just checking.
I think, like, if you're happy with what you want to do, or, like, you know what you want to do, and you need the degree in order to do that, then I think you'll be happy once you get to that area, which is, like, my scenario. I don't think, like, everyone needs a degree to succeed or be happy or whatever. I don't care what people do.
I wasn't talking about everyone. I was talking about you.
No, I'm saying, like, personally, yeah.
I
need the degree to do what I want to do.
Which is help as many people as possible and make the world a better place.
Obviously.
Can I change
All in 1 year.
Can I change your last name to Teresa in my phone? Is that okay?
Well, I mean, it's fine. You like, that's what you want to do.
Fair enough.
My sister's name is Teresa. That's not her name.
Oh, really? No, I meant like just like Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa.
Yeah. I'm glad you're with me on that.
Why did you give up 1 credit? Like 1 course? So like 3 credits?
1 class.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it literally was a 1 credit class though. I had 1 elective.
Why did you stop that?
An opportunity presented itself to me.
And you couldn't do it?
No, I was in school in upstate New York. The opportunity was in Los Angeles.
Online class.
I mean, I eventually did take a class and transfer it in, yeah.
Okay, well there you go.
Like
No, because that just like...
Oh yeah, two years later I got my degree and my grandmother decided not to roll over in her grave.
yeah.
But that said, I always tell my mom if I ever... Sorry, not to knock degrees, they're wonderful. But I always tell my mom if I ever use my degree, consider me a failure in life. Because on the course I'm on now.
Yeah. That's understandable. Hopefully I'll use mine. Maybe not. Maybe they'll just be like, we don't want you.
So up to here, seems kind of boring, right? That's kind of the idea. You're on a date, you both like each other, you both agreed to get to know each other. You're taking some time. It doesn't have to be all high energy the whole way. I've made this point several times. I'm going to make it one more time. The other thing I'm going to show you right now is I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to show you actually the timeline on this project file. And I don't know if that quite makes sense to you if you don't do video editing. But basically, if you look across this top line, the areas here that are in pink are areas where it's biographical and get to know you and there's not a lot of game going on. The areas where there's no pink are the areas where I'm going to show you and there is a lot of game coming on. But in general, what I want you to do is look at how much pink there is. Look at the ratio of pink to black and notice it's probably more pink than black, okay? So when you're going about a date, the majority of it is get to know you. The game stuff really is the spice, all right? It's like if you had a steak and you have like the seasoning and stuff, like the game is the seasoning. It's not the steak, okay? You don't want a plate full of salt. And that's what a lot of people game as though it's like a plate full of salty game, right? You don't want that shit, okay? Tone it down, use it sparingly. It's powerful, but use it sparingly, especially in a date context, because the main thing you're doing in a date is you're being real with the girl and getting to know her, and you're painting a picture of your life for her, right? All the like emotional spike stuff is kind of secondary to that. And you've already done a lot of it, otherwise she wouldn't even be on the date with you. Okay. So socially, do you date just outside your school and it wasn't a big deal, or did you just not date a lot in high school?
When I didn't date a lot in high school, so you like get to. single-sex schools are very big in Philly. You know, I could have gone to like one of like 10 all-girl schools. So then there's 10 all-guy schools to like go right on.
And you have like your little mixers or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe like formal dance where you have a date with somebody you barely know.
But you have to ask the boy because they can't ask you to your own formal.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah.
So you learned at a young age to, take care and take charge and get the boys in line?
I guess. Well, I just didn't care. I was going to hang out with my friends and get wasted afterwards. I didn't care who went with me.
I like your outlook. You could be fun. On a good day. Okay. Well, that's what I'll do. I'll text you from now on. I'll be like, hey, is it a good day or a bad day? If you're like, bad day, I'm like, don't beat me. Good day? Come on out. Yeah, fair enough. Oh, man. So, genuine question, because it revolves around what I might do with you after a drink or so. On a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being like the nerdiest person ever and 1 being like I can't form a sentence or read, where are you?
It's a hard question. Can I phone a friend? I want to say I'm pretty moderate.
Pretty moderate.
So I think I would say I fluctuate between a 4 and a 6, depending on the topic. But that also might be a cop-out answer. I acknowledge that. But it was a pretty broad question.
Did you draw a bell curve in your head when answering that?
I didn't.
You were like, well, I think a 4 and a 6 is between like 1 standard deviation. So that's between like the 67th percentile.
No, not that much of a nerd. And I would have been at the end of the...
But you know what I was talking about.
Yeah, I know what a bell curve is.
I would hope so in your line of work. So what you just saw was about an 8-minute gap from the previous clip that I'd shown, and you'll notice the escalation of the conversation, right? It's still very friendly, it's still very just discussing, but what's changed? We've changed the conversational topic, right? Instead of it being about general things, now it's about the subject of dating and relationships, right? And this is one of the ways that escalation can happen. Escalation can happen physically, getting physical with the girl. It can happen logistically, moving the girl around. And it can happen verbally in 2 different ways. One is by escalating what I call escalating the pronoun from talking about yourself, I, to talk about her, which is you, to talk about we, which is us together, right? So the escalation of the pronoun is one escalation in set, and then the other is escalating the conversation topic, random topics, topics about you, topics about relationship, topics about sex, etc. Right? And so you'll notice that even though it's still very casual, there's a little teasing still, but not a ton. But what's changed is the conversational topic has escalated. It's become a more intimate, more relationship-y, more man-to-woman conversation topic. So very slow escalation, but it's definitely present. Salty? All right. So you do follow the sports even if you don't slam so much? Actually a random-ish question. How curly is your hair normally?
This is fake curly.
This is fake. Well, I mean, this is fake curly, but like this up here is not fake curly.
Yeah. I have relatively curly hair. Not like ringlets. I was like born with like ringlets, but now it's kind of just like a hot mess.
So you rolled out of bed with ringlets?
What?
I'm clowning on you because you said like that I rolled out of bed like this thing. I was thinking that at the time. I wasn't going to say anything, but now you said ringlets, I have to say. You rolled out of bed with ringlets. That's awesome. Like, it's impressive.
No, I don't. All fake.
Yeah. It's a really good wig. It's really on there. I mean, it's like...
yeah. I'm just like put the super glue on there and hoping for the best. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
It's so natural.
Just let me know if like something starts looking weird. Can you like do that for me?
If I need to, like, I'll shift it over for you a little bit.
Is it that obvious I have curly hair? It's this right here, isn't it?
It's right at the root. Yeah. No,
that doesn't straighten out.
It's right here.
Yeah, that doesn't straighten out.
Well, you can't get like this. You have a straightening iron, right? You can't get the straightening iron that close.
No, I can get that close, but it doesn't straighten out.
Really? I think it's endearing.
And it's only right there, but like anywhere else on my head, it's fine.
It's endearing. It's fine.
Yeah, just a little special up there.
Is that what your teacher
Remind
told
me
you
of
as a
my
kid?
roots.
Oh man.
When I was a kid, I had like really tight curls, and my family used to call me the Pepsi girl. Do you remember the little girl who used to do the commercials?
No. Should I be Googling this right now? Hang on. You
She's
talk,
also
I'll
in a
Google.
movie with like the parrot, and she's like deaf. It's like a long kid. It's like called Polly or something.
Called what?
Polly.
Okay, hang on.
Just look up like the Pepsi girl.
I'm looking it up right now.
But anyway, they used to like call me that, and I would sob. I would get
Sob?
so upset.
Oh, I remember. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
This
I
one?
had that hair as a kid.
That one?
Yeah. They would like make fun of me, but she's really unattractive now though.
Is she
So
really?
it's even more of an insult.
Oh.
Well, it's not an insult then, like she's a cute little girl. But they used to do it in like a teasing way. And I would get so upset. I'm a very mean family.
Fair enough. We got a big family too, so we're big-ish, 6 people.
What big? Do you have a big family? You're an only child.
I mean, I act as conceited as an only child, but no, I'm the oldest. So yeah.
Do you get along with your siblings?
Currently,
Are they close in age?
3 years. So closer in age than we are. So
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to point it out, but alright.
the point is, they're too far apart for us to get along. So you and I are clearly not going to get along. Just throwing it out there.
Did you think this was getting along? Because this isn't.
I was kind of like, I'm just going to invite her out and use her for some witty banter and an engaging evening, and then we'll leave it at that.
I'm going to find my entertainment in this girl, like, whether it's laughing with her, at her, it's just going to happen some way, like, whatever.
Exactly. We're like so you'll notice this is now the second time during this clip when I've gotten physical. First was the hair thing. I used talking about her hair as an excuse to touch the hair. Now I'm using talking about the wrist and the hand as an excuse to touch the hand and wrist. I do this also with like items of clothing sometimes, necklaces, jewelry, any of these kind of things. But I want to bridge that physical gap because that's another one of those layers of escalation. We talked about the verbal escalation. Now I'm escalating physically as well. And again, super gradual, right? This is still largely innocent conversation. It's a lot to get to know you. There's a little more banter, a little more of that arousing conversation, but it's still very, very friendly, very, very safe, with just tiny more elements thrown in. It is person. I swear.
Not that bad. It's all natural.
What does that even mean? It's all natural.
I don't eat healthy and I don't work out.
Okay.
So it's natural.
It's natural.
Biological.
It's biological. You're designed to be thin. You would not do well in Africa.
No, it would do awesome. I'd fit in.
You're adorable.
I get like yelled at to like gain weight.
Really? And you tried. You're like, I'm trying. Look, I don't work out. I eat all the
I
time.
have like, I think normal eating habits.
I didn't mean that in a bad way in any way, shape, or form.
Care.
You're like, oh,
I really don't care.
You're over it? Yeah. Oh, you're delicate and dainty. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That said, I could also like do like overhead presses with you and.
No, because I hate being picked up, because people think they can pick me up, and then they drop me.
Who dropped you? That's me.
I've been dropped several times, because people will be like, drunk. I've been like thrown off a porch into a pile of snow, because like they can. It's not fluffy.
No, it's not. It's a little funny though.
And because they're drunk, and they're just like, what can we do with Kristen today? Fun time.
Again,
It'd be difficult being this tiny. Not easy.
Sorry. So many sob stories. I like have so much sympathy for you right now. Got made fun of as the Pepsi girl. You get thrown around.
I have to get like most of my clothes tailored.
Really? Interesting.
But I have to find like 00, petite, extra small, and then wear it in an oversized fashion way.
Never tried just like off
Hope
the.
it shrinks in the wash.
Never tried just going off the kids rack.
It doesn't really fit my style.
I'm just messing with you. I actually like your style. For like if you want a genuine compliment, I actually do like your style.
Thank you.
That's from.
I do alright. It's a mix. I don't think I could like say the dress in a certain way.
Alright. So here's my plan for you because I do enjoy engaging with your wit. Okay. So my plan was we're gonna have maybe one more drink here, and then assuming it's still open, which it should be, there's a bookstore around the corner.
Okay.
Which like reminds me of the past because nowadays it's all Amazon.
Okay.
But I thought I would take the witty, marginally educated girl to the bookstore. And I actually, if I were smart, I would have planned ahead what my favorite books are, but I have no idea. But I would show you a book or two I like. You could show me a book or two you like. You can see if like we enjoy each other.
What type of novels do you like?
What type of novels?
This is what I want to do. No matter how many people tell me it's like not a good choice, I'm gonna do it.
I like it. Plus you're cute. You can always marry rich. You'll be fine.
What?
I said plus you're cute. You can always just marry rich. You'll be fine.
I would not marry rich. Just to marry rich. That would be.
I like that you added the last part.
I mean, if I was in love with someone and they happen to be rich, like awesome for them.
I know. I like the last part. It was good. Because like, it was just well put.
Thanks.
So you're not going to hate me if I'm successful?
No, I already did.
It's alright.
No,
we have one of these kind of relationships.
Yeah, definitely.
I won't take your shit, you won't take my shit, we'll fight all the time. There'll be all this tension, no one will know where it'll go. Yeah.
Because we're constantly fighting.
It'll be the kind of thing where like
we're both always wrong.
We just hate each other the whole time, but we just can't like stop talking about each other.
Yeah.
It's like some kind of like weird like romantic comedy movie where everybody's like, why don't the two of you just like, you know.
How about you just cut it out? Yeah. Call it quits now. What?
She's right, I am looking at her very intently. And that's for a reason, because a great way to escalate things is to just hold eye contact, kind of stare a little bit, objectify the girl a little bit, and leave a little silence, leave a little sexual tension for her to fill, all right? So again, this whole interaction is very, very, very low-key, right? Very low-key, very chill, very conversational, but you can still just tell that I keep gradually, subtly bringing it back to man to woman, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. I never let it stray completely to platonic zone.
You're looking at me very intently.
I like the squints. I like your hair a lot, actually. I usually do not like curly hair, but I like your hair a lot.
I picked a good wig tonight.
Did you? I'm glad. Keep it. It suits you.
Wait, you don't normally care for hair, is that what you said?
I don't usually like curly hair, but you actually pull it off well. As a little.
You don't curl it that much. It's a lot of effort.
Well, in that case, I thank you. You're very sweet to me.
I rolled out of bed this way.
I know. I can tell. Adorable. So I bet you didn't see that coming, huh? Out of nowhere, bang, kiss. Here's the thing. A kiss doesn't require that much, okay? It really doesn't. What do you need for a kiss? You need, she likes you, okay, that's already the case when she came out on the date. She's a little bit emotionally aroused. There's a little sexual tension. That's it, and then you just kind of go for it. What you will notice about the way I went about that kiss was that I didn't just like lean in and lunge at her. A lot of guys do that. They're like, oh, she's ready to be kissed, and they just go like aggressive animal lips at her. Not a good idea. What I did instead was I went with a little move, reached out, took her hands, pulled her in, saw how she reacted to that, pulled a little more, pulled her head in, and then when she reacted well to that, I went ahead and kissed her. Had she reacted negatively at any point, I would have dropped it. If I reached for the hand and she didn't give it to me, I would have just kept talking. If I pulled her and I sensed any resistance, I would have stopped pulling. If I reached around to her head and she resisted there, I would have dropped it, and I would have been like, just trying to tell you a secret, but whatever. something like that, right? I would have gone as though it was like not for the kiss, but it was for some other like lesser reason, something less invasive. So it's not one step to go for the kiss, it's actually a few. But pretty much when you get to a certain level in game, once the vibe is right, you can kind of go for the kiss whenever you want to. And that makes you way less needy about the kiss, and it means you can like chill and relax and take your time a bit more. I went through an interesting progression in dating personally, which was at first I had a really hard time kissing a girl. Then I got to the point where I got comfortable with it and I got really good at it. And a rule that I had for myself was I always would sit next to the girl on a date because that made kissing easier. And then at a certain point, I started kissing the girl too early and too much on the dates, and it was cheesy and it didn't really work very well. And then I actually enforced a rule where I made myself intentionally not sit next to the girl for a little bit so I'd learn to do the date without kissing her. Now my preference is to actually sit next to her, but to take things slow, kiss kind of minimally, and make sure that whatever you're doing, and this is the key rule, whatever you're doing in escalation, would be kissing, touching, whatever, it needs to increase the sexual tension rather than decreasing it, okay? So to a certain extent, and up to a certain level, physicality increases the sexual tension because it makes things more exciting. At a certain level, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and aren't progressing past it, it kind of gets boring and the sexual tension actually decreases. So if you've kissed once, that's great. If you've kissed like 16 times, the 17th kiss isn't as big of a deal. There's not a lot of tension there. It starts to get kind of boring, all right? So the key thing isn't how much did you escalate, it's how much sexual tension do you have, and also how much is she participating. Those are the key criteria that actually matter. You're welcome. Any more drinks? I literally can't decide whether I want to like when I look at you, I can't decide whether I kiss you or like give you a fucking noogie.
Well, that is a first for me.
You're welcome.
New territory.
New territory?
Yeah.
No, I mean it's definitely different than most people I meet.
Why? Do you think that you have a type and I don't fit that?
I didn't even just say girls.
I'm just saying, but in general, I didn't say a girl type either. You can have a friend type, but you typically interact with. You can look for something in the people you talk to.
So it's funny. In what I do and who I interact with, one of the biggest things I try and look for is people who think for themselves. But the problem, it's going to sound arrogant, but deal with it. The problem is I'm a very strong personality and strong influence. And so as much as people maybe do think for themselves, a lot of people are drawn to me because of the way I think and because of who I am. And so they either already think like me or they start thinking more like me the longer they're with me.
Okay.
And it's refreshing that with you, I know that there are many, many topics that we would debate on. But the one thing I would respect about you regardless is I know whatever opinion you give me would be your own and not some opinion that you're just trying to like please me with.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Good. I'm pretty stubborn and I'm not going to give up things.
I like the expressions. What's this ring?
It's my high school class ring.
I figured it was something like that. A little bit.
Yeah.
Key thing to notice post-kiss is I'm doing a lot of qualifying, right? At this point, value is already there. If we're making out, value is there. I don't need a whole lot more value to have sex. What I need is comfort. What I need is for her to, again, like the story of me, to relate to that, and I need her to feel just good with the overall vibe. And part of that is bringing her up to my level, because you remember from the initial pickup and also from this so far, it's always been I'm cool, I'm cool, I'm cool, I'm the shit, I'm the shit. I need to let her be cool as well. I need to bring her up to my level, and so that's why I'm giving her more compliments, I'm qualifying her. And these are not just like bullshit compliments, not like, you have pretty eyes, I like your dress. These are actually thought out compliments that actually mean something. Enjoy your
A lot of people don't like this about me.
Like what about you? That you have like no standards? No. That's a mean way of putting it. I said that you have no standards. That's a mean way of putting it.
I think I have standards.
No, my question for you actually, the no standards thing is just a joke. But my question was, do you find that when you go through the world that way that people walk all over you? Because I would be, if I were in your shoes, I'd be like concerned about that approach. In the sense that, let's say like for me, for example, okay? Like obviously I'm charming and amazing and wonderful, everyone can tell that. But let's say hypothetically, hypothetically, let's say instead I were like some sort of like, narcissistic asshole or something, which I'm clearly not. But let's say hypothetically. So if you were to like, say we, became some kind of relationship, and you were to just forgive me every time I do something wrong, and that could be detrimental to your well-being.
Okay, no, that is like different. So I think that like
you look so thoughtful. I'll give you a moment.
So I think that like I'm really open to meeting new people.
Do you want to do one more round before though?
Yeah.
One more.
I think like I can like separate that and like that's
What about with
fine.
yourself?
With myself? No, people are like assholes to me all the time. I'm very passive aggressive about things. And I also think I'm very good at being an asshole back. If someone wants to be an asshole to me, fine. Be an asshole. But I don't. There's not many people I spend time with who I think are.
Just kidding. I love your answer.
No, I'm gonna finish.
No, you can finish. No, I'm not. I'm not
Okay.
telling you not to finish. I love your answer.
Thanks.
I'm pleased.
Yeah.
No. Don't kiss me. Finish your answer. I'm actually curious.
Okay, we're doing it in this manner. Okay, so if people are assholes to me, I don't find that. How do I like phrase this? I don't find that like people are just like actually assholes 24/7. I think they might be assholes when they're like out in public and trying to be a certain way. But I tend to have a lot of like guy speaking wise, I tend to have a lot of guy friends, and like some of our time might be hanging out just like one-on-one where we like talk and I actually like know what's going on in their life. So I like hold that perspective of when I'm one-on-one with something as when they're around everyone else. And I think the same about like girls. Like girls can definitely be like fucking bitches. I don't get along with most girls. I don't have a lot of
philosophically, really, that's interesting. Actually, I philosophically love your outlook. I feel like it's an outlook that's going to lead to like you being miserable sometimes, but also when you're happy, you'll probably be really happy.
Yeah.
So there's a couple different things going on here that I want to point out. The first one, in terms of nature of conversation and what we're talking about, is I'm doing what I call becoming an authority in her world. And what this means is someone she can look up to, someone that is for guidance or is a leader, right? If you're leading in her life, you're going to be leading in the interaction, leading towards the bedroom, et cetera, et cetera. And it's something that a lot of girls have a lot of respect for, have a lot of positive emotions towards. There's this old stereotype that every girl has daddy issues, or every girl wants to like fuck her daddy or whatever. It's not quite like that. But if you are in that role of, father, guider, or like guidance, teacher, mentor, those kind of roles, there is a lot of power in that role, and a lot of girls are really looking for someone to fill that role, and they are looking to be led. So establishing yourself as an authority in her world is very, very powerful. Second thing is, with respect to the escalation, you've seen me pull the girl in and not kiss her. You've seen me pull the girl in and kiss her. You've seen me tell the girl overtly not to kiss me and to finish up. What am I doing here? I'm keeping it variable and I'm maintaining the tension. Okay, so I don't want to be like, kiss every time I can, because that becomes boring, it becomes needy, it becomes pushy, right? Instead, sometimes I want to tease her and not kiss her. Sometimes I want to kiss her a lot. Sometimes I want to, take the attention away and interrupt the kiss myself, various things like that. So again, this is all maintaining the tension rather than decreasing it.
How do you feel about that?
I agree with the statement. I feel like you and I are like going to be. I feel like you and I are going to be like philosophical, like. What do you mean in a wholesome way?
In like, you like the idea of that, or like that you can respect someone who's voting opposite party of you?
Oh, of course. I mean, I'm hanging out with you, right?
Am I voting opposite party of you?
I don't know. I didn't mean voting opposite party. I mean like.
No,
I think you and I philosophically disagree on certain things, but I respect how you've come to your beliefs. If that makes sense. And I actually think, it's jury out, I just met you, right? But I think I actually enjoy you as a person.
Thanks, maybe, probably not. So I'm good to a time.
No, I know.
It's all downhill from here. This is like good first impressions.
I mean, I like you, but let's take it slow, right? I don't want us to rush into things.
Yeah.
I'm a very shy boy.
Obviously.
And while I enjoy you, I find you attractive. have tons of fun together. I think that
Maybe.
we should, take things slow and cater to the fact that I'm a shy boy and I have to protect my fragile heart.
Do you think I have nothing to protect? Who do you think I am? You're making assumptions about me and presumptions.
I'm not going to kiss you this time, though. I want this. Am I?
Thanks.
No, legitimately. You and I are philosophically different.
Tell me why we're philosophically different.
Huh?
Why are we philosophically different?
We're not as much as I thought, actually.
Okay.
Going into the day, I thought we were more philosophically different than we are.
Why? What was your first impression that made you think that?
First impression? I thought you were like a blanket anti-capitalist.
No.
I know. You're actually you're a lot more thought out than I thought. You're actually.
Not. I have some depth.
All right.
I
give you a compliment.
I told you I'm a sarcastic asshole. Just go with it.
I mean, be a sarcastic asshole, but not in the middle of a compliment.
No, I'm pretty.
It's like a self-preservation thing. In the middle of a compliment, let the compliment flow.
I can't.
No, you're like what?
No,
I need to nitpick.
I believe in capitalism. I do.
Doing what?
Capitalism.
Oh yeah. Okay, good. Here's my vision. Okay. So again, this is a lot more of the same. It's qualifying and disqualifying, probably a little more qualifying than disqualifying. We've already made out a few times. We've agreed we like each other, but I don't drop the disqualifier completely. And then also just building sexual tension, right? It's kind of that same process over and over and over again. The one thing I have to be careful of a little bit is not to overbuild the sexual tension to the point where it can only go downhill, right? I want to make sure to normalize it. I make sure to keep, a little get to know you in there. And the one thing I want to draw your attention to is, you remember before you saw that whole the timeline of the video where it was a bunch of pink and then some black, the pink being the get to know you. Well, you're seeing this without the get to know you. So it may appear that we're making out a lot and it's very, very sexual, very, very intimate. It is sexual and intimate. We are making out a bit, but it's not nearly as much as you would be led to believe watching it here. Understand there's a lot more get to know you and a lot more space between those sections, all right? So I don't want you thinking that it's game, make out all the time. It's a lot more normal and a lot more chill than that.
I get told I have an accent all the time, but it's cool. Sometimes I embrace it.
You hate being teased.
I do. No, I prefer being the tease.
Why?
That's the fun role.
Maybe. It's so much more effort, though. Think of it this way.
Maybe it's just natural to me.
Yeah, come here. We can both tease each other for a second, but I'm going to tell you something, okay?
Yeah, what are you going to tell me?
So the deal is this. Both teasing and being teased are fun.
Mm-hmm.
But think of the teaser as the composer of the symphony. They have to create the experience.
Yeah.
Whereas the teasee can just enjoy and embrace the experience. You like being in charge, huh?
The teaser is the one in charge, exactly.
You like being in control?
Sometimes. Not all the time.
I'll tell you a secret. I'm not going to kiss you, but I'll tell you a secret.
Tell me a secret.
I promise. Even though it's contrary to my nature, if you really, really want to be in control, I'll let you be in control occasionally.
Ah, thanks. There's only one other way where I prefer control. Are we getting into this? I love giving blowjobs because of the control aspect.
Because you're in control of the experience, so to speak.
And because they need this from me.
Need is a strong word, but I definitely enjoy a good blowjob, so fair enough.
But in that moment, you need it, or I guess you could have sex, but you need to get off in some fashion.
Okay.
So, a want.
Strong desire. How's that? So I'm guessing you'd like it if girls on dates told you that they like giving blowjobs. I like it as well. The control aspect thing I can take or leave, but the blowjob thing I'll definitely take. But why does that come about, right? It's because I was gradually escalating on all these different levels. I escalated verbally, escalated like the emotional content of the conversation. I escalated physically, right? I've created all these things. I've created tension, so she wants to chase. And then also, this is important, I've set frames where sex is okay. And I've overtly talked about sex, so it becomes normal and natural for these kind of things to come up. When the girl gets the impression that she's not judged and can be her sexual self with you, she'll be her sexual self with you. When the woman gets the impression that you will judge her, she'll be very, very sort of closed off and restrictive, and she'll do things to try and be the good girl. And it's kind of hard to sleep with the good girl, especially early on, like first date, second date, that kind of stuff. So all of these, I mean, this is a natural outgrowth, not of one thing, but of tons of different things I've been doing throughout this whole interaction. And you may have noticed this started out very boring at the start. It's not so boring now.
You know, I guess I've been blowing the wrong people. It's always a one.
I've been blowing the wrong people. Can I quote you on that? That's like the best quote of ever. I guess I've been blowing the wrong people. That sounds like some kind of LA starlet who's trying to like sleep her way to the top. I guess I've been blowing the wrong people.
Were you not picking up on that?
Oh my God.
I'm sleeping my way to the top.
Clearly.
Halfway there.
You're like, you've slept your way to the middle? Strong word.
In the bell curve.
Oh man. I should not enjoy you nearly as much as I do. I really shouldn't. Huh?
I think I'm an enjoyable person. Why should you not enjoy me?
Because as cute, adorable, and witty as you are, you're kind of fucking trouble.
How so? Define this like troubling aspect about me.
Well, first of all, you like to be in control.
No, I don't like to be in control. I like to be a tease.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that's different.
So wait, you like to be out of control but a tease?
I like to be a tease in a tease setting.
Okay.
And I like the control of the blowjob. Other than that, I don't like to be.
Okay.
I'm very indecisive and I don't make decisions also. So I don't think that's like a controlling aspect. I'm very go with the flow.
Okay. So hypothetically.
Okay. Give it to me. Preparing.
Good choice of words, by the way. Give it to me. So hypothetically, if we were intimate. Not that I'm saying that's necessarily going to happen, because, you know, me and my fragile heart and whatnot. But hypothetically. So, if I let you control and tease me through the blowjob stage, and then took control and fucked you better than you've ever been fucked, you'd be okay with that experience?
Yeah, that's the perfect.
Just checking. I mean, I think we should take it slow, but I'm open to the possibilities.
We are taking it slow.
Yes.
There are no possibilities at this point. I'm a nice little Catholic.
Cheers. Yeah, there clearly are no possibilities at this point. I mean, this is how you want dates to go. You're already made out, there's clearly sexual tension, and you're openly and overtly discussing sex. And you're saying, this is how I would fuck you, and she's like, that's the preferred way. I mean, that's a pretty good spot to be in, right? How did that happen? Again, the right processes throughout the right escalation, maintain the sexual tension, all the things that I've been talking about. Stuff.
Like, preferably, I like to be on the edge of the bed.
The edge?
Yeah.
Oh, like the outside?
Yeah, the outside.
So I'm not right or left side, I'm outside.
Outside, I'm not in and out of that.
Meaning you like to be in control? You like to be in control of when you go and leave?
No, I just like an escape route.
Fair enough. Well, that said, if at any point you feel the need for an escape route with me, you're free to go.
I think I'm adjustable, though. I think that is, like, the better
answer?
Scenario, yeah. What do you prefer? Do you prefer the right?
So I'm naturally right-handed, but so there's that. But I actually, strangely enough, prefer the right side of the bed and like going like left. Like I like a little left-sided snuggle, if you know what I mean.
Okay, if I'm in the bed alone, I sleep diagonally.
Like across the whole leg.
And It's not on purpose.
So that means that means if you ever go to bed first, I'm gonna come to bed and I'll be like, what the fuck is this? I can't even
I'm
get in.
I'm a super deep sleeper, so
I'll
push me aside.
Just move you. So I was gonna take you to a bookstore and go like peruse a little bit, and then come have one more drink with you, just because I'm not hating your company, interestingly enough. However,
I have a first. Can I get that in writing for references later? In case someone says they do hate me in company, and be like,
I will write you the most like effusive, positive bullshit reference if you ever want. I'll write it from my company too if you want, okay? And pretend you worked for us.
I'll start putting that down on my apps. Looking for a part-time job.
Yeah. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I have no reputation to lose on that regard, so whatever. It's a small company. It's not like it's Microsoft, but if it carries weight, you're welcome to it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
What I was going to say is we can do the bookstore thing, or here's a random question. Do you use Audible?
What?
Do you know what Audible is? How do you not know what Audible is?
Oh my god, who am I? I don't know.
You have I got my books read to me until 6th grade. You don't know what Audible is?
Is it just like audiobooks?
It's like audiobooks.
No, I don't like that.
You don't like that? Really? Why not?
I'm a very visual person, so I don't like podcasts that much.
Okay.
And I listened to Serial, or the first season of it, still wasn't a fan. I fell asleep through a lot of the episodes, whatever. I'm a very visual person, and I prefer that. So please tell me about Audible.
It's fine. I feel very objectified right now, though. Just knowing that you're a visual person. I thought you liked me for my wit and personality, but now I realize you just think I'm cute.
Obviously not. No, but I like the connection. I like reading the words off the book or a page. Whatever.
Really? All right. You and I are going around the corner. We're going to find 1 or 2 books we like.
Maybe.
But then we're coming back here because I want to have another drink with you because I enjoy you. You cool with that?
Yeah, maybe. You might not enjoy me after my book preference, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. It's quite possible I won't.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's do it then.
Let's do it. All right, fair enough.
Check out the
Yeah, I already got the bill. It's fine.
Thank you.
No worries. All right, so the Audible thing was me trying to call an Audible and take her directly up to my room instead of taking her around the corner to the bookstore and etc. And I think this is a good idea given, the way things are going. I think it could possibly be on. I just wanted a premise to take her up there because just like, hey, let's go up to my room is not really a good offer. So I wanted that premise. I got a little thrown off by the fact that she was definitely not into the audiobook, and I didn't have a backup idea because it's not a place I normally stay. I don't really know the logistics. I don't have a lot of cool things set up within my house as reasons to go back. So I didn't really have a plan, and I ended up going to the bookstore, which is fine. It worked out all right. But I could have definitely, taken her up. And I think, in hindsight, looking at it, the right move would have been, rather than staying so fixated on the bookstore idea, which was my idea at the start of the date, if I'd been a little more flexible and kind of adapted to how things were going and come up with a good premise and just taken her up, I think that would have been probably the highest percentage play. That said, in my defense, and in my experience, generally you will lose a lot more girls and a lot more sets based on trying to go too fast than based on trying to go too slow. All right? Because if you try and go too slow and, as long as the vibe is good, the girl will indicate, she'll give you signs and you'll know to speed it back up. But if you try and go too fast and you hear no or you get resistance, that's when you'll lose it entirely, or that's when it'll take massively longer because you're going to come up against a lot of bullshit, a lot of resistance, a lot of just obstacles that shouldn't have been in your way. I remember one pull I had recently. I took a girl home and I took her up to the roof to go drink on the roof or whatever, and then I made an excuse to go back to the apartment to grab something, and she's like, where are we going? I'm like, oh, we're just gonna go stop downstairs real fast, grab some stuff, and then we're gonna go back up and enjoy the roof a bit more. And she just looks at me and she's like, the pit stop isn't really necessary. As in, I'm ready to go to your place and fuck you now, so we really don't need to do the long-winded thing, right? So what did I do? I made the error, an error in quotes, of going too slowly, but she corrected it for me by going faster. Whereas if I make the opposite error of going too fast, that's when I get resistance and problems. So if in doubt, the lesson is actually go slower rather than faster. Although in this case, I probably could have just taken her up to my room at this point. What occurs from here is we leave, we go to Barnes & Noble, we come back, and you're going to catch us seated back in the same bar. The Barnes & Noble stuff, it's a lot of walking and talking. It's a lot of biography because there's no point in escalating while you're walking. And then inside Barnes & Noble, I didn't have my camera crew follow me in there because I felt like it would have been really, really hard for them not to get caught doing that in a place like Barnes & Noble, especially when they've already been sitting this close to the girl for most of the date. Like, it's not like she hasn't seen them on some level, maybe in her subconscious, peripheral vision, whatever. So I just told them, like, wait outside and pick us up back when we get out of the store. So we go there, we come back, and it'll pick up back when we're in this bar. We're in a different part of the bar, but back in this bar having that next drink.
I don't think I need to get you drunk to take advantage of you.
So you think I'm easy? I'm a
No,
little offended.
I didn't say that. I said I get what I want.
Really?
Always.
In terms of action or in terms of quality?
In terms of persistence.
What I meant is there's getting me and then there's getting my best effort.
That's a different side to it. Because your best effort is for me to be hard to get, because then you're giving your best effort.
It's totally over my head. I missed that completely. I probably didn't hear you, to be fair.
So you're saying your best effort or you? But I feel like your best effort would be your chase to me. Because that's where you put in the more effort when it's not as easy for you.
Spoken like a true tease. That's funny. That's not even... You're in a completely different category that I'm in, but that's funny.
I like the spoken by a true tease.
That's funny. I hadn't even looked at it from the perspective you're looking at it, because I'm never... Anyway.
But there's a million ways perspective.
I'll tell you how I actually meant it. I meant the quality man is actually getting him and having him, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I acknowledge that, and I found the loophole in your sentence.
As long as you were clear on what I actually meant.
Speaking quality.
Well, you're talking about getting me drunk and taking advantage of me, or getting me taking advantage of me non-drunk. I'm like, it's a matter of quality of effort.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I'm not that easy. I think we should take it slow. But if I did deliver, I would endeavor to do my best for you.
I am very much not easy. I don't think I need a B.
I don't think I need a B. It's funny.
At this juncture.
There's a meme I saw once upon a time. It said, benefits of dating me. Number one, you'll be dating me. I could go on, but I think I've proven my point. Yeah. It's kind of how I feel about life sometimes. So I have a question for you. Do you think two people who enjoy teasing and being teased can actually get along intimately? Or do you think it would just be frustrating for everybody?
I think there's a lot that goes into getting along intimately, and I think that there's different aspects of getting along intimately.
This isn't a thesis, so it was just a casual question.
I'm just telling you. Let me tell you.
I'm about to get a 5-paragraph essay out of this shit.
I'm about to make my solid point.
Okay.
Is that from my experience, there are two types of people. Those who take intimacy very seriously, and those who take it in a playful sense. Where there's laughing involved and jokes involved and whatever, or those who we're getting down to business, this is going to be this and that and whatever, and if you laugh that kills the mood or anything, and I think that is more important.
This is interesting. You'll notice a few changes. One, the sort of energy level is lower and more relaxed now, which is both good and bad, to be fair. But it definitely we're very matter of fact about talking about sexual things at this point. We're definitely talking very explicitly about, what the sex will be like, that kind of stuff. So it's very much on the table, and it's very much become a logical decision. It is important to make sure to keep some sexual tension and to keep it interesting and fun as well, a little bit from time to time. But as you can tell, there's definitely like logical investment and commitment on both parts.
Like matching with the same type of person, then like compatibility-wise in that aspect, then like other things.
One thing to note is I'm not telling her things. I'm not saying I think the same person can be different with different people, or saying I think that sex is this way. What am I doing? I'm asking her opinions on it, and I'm asking in very leading ways. I'm asking in ways that almost suggest an answer, and almost like it would be silly not to answer them that way, but I'm not going to lead, at least not explicitly, because that's forceful and that's pushy and that has an agenda, etc. It's much better to get her to open up and give her opinion and let her lead it that way than it is for me to force it, right? And you never, ever, ever want to tell a girl how to think about sex. You never want to be like the guy that's pushy about anything sex related. Do you think the same person can be different with different people?
Yes, and I think that also the same person or the same two people can be different in different aspects in different situations.
So you're saying we don't have to be vanilla every time?
I don't think we have to commit to anything, but like when you look at initial intimacy, two people need to acknowledge initial stuff like that in the same way. And I think it can kind of be like going on a date with someone who is like going to get to know you and enjoy you, or going on a date with someone who's looking for a relationship. And I think that can be like a comparison to
Which one are you?
I'm playful.
Good. It's something I've seen over and over and wasn't really mentioning. I was kind of going to mention it in the Inside Her Mind Women breakdown, but I'll mention it here as well just briefly, which is you'll notice how often she's agreeing with my frames, right? If I have an opinion, all of a sudden she's changing her opinion a little bit to be in line with mine. When we were talking about like sleeping on the different sides of the bed, I gave her mine, and then she's like, well, I'm adaptable, right? So she's constantly like, when I do state an opinion, when I do state a preference, she's constantly trying to fall into my preference to go in line with that opinion. That's an extremely, extremely good sign that she's bought into you. That's I have a model called the it's in Opening Mastery called the FAME model and the Fred model. But the Fred model specifically, I guess, the last step is decision, right? It's when she makes a decision in your favor. When the girl adjusts her priorities for you, that's her making a decision in your favor. It's a massive, massive, massively important thing in game. So I'm both.
I think I could.
But I would never want to start too intimate. I'd rather start playful and become intimate rather than the other way around.
No, definitely.
I'm open to whatever, but like, I don't think it should start like all fucking heavy.
So socially awkward and insecure.
Really?
That I needed to be a joke in order for me to feel comfortable in the situation. Just a little self-analysis.
Again, something I'll save in depth for the women / in her head part of the analysis, but she basically just gave me her sexual blueprint, or a big part of it. So you'd be silly not to be listening when she says things like that. Fair enough. I appreciate that. I promise I won't see you. I appreciate these things. I like the lighthearted side of you.
Thanks.
That's it. Legitimately, all honesty, I legitimately don't know if there's any possibility of anything super deep between us, but I fucking enjoy you. You're welcome.
Appreciate it. I'm alright.
Yeah? Good. I genuinely do. Like, I have a soft spot for banter and I have a soft spot for sarcasm. So how could I not at least play like a little?
I'm hitting all of them. It's like a good game of whack-a-mole.
I didn't tell you all my soft spots, but I will say like, oh god, I feel like I'm being psychoanalyzed now. What I'm saying is, how could I not enjoy you, given all that? And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I think you enjoy me equally, so that's a good thing. You have a smug grin on your face. Don't read too much into it. I'm not that easy.
You say that saying that I'm easy, or under the impression that I am.
No, I didn't say anything about you.
I know.
I made no implication. Not at all.
I'm just joking with you. I'm not trying to like.
Not at all. I think that it would be delectable for you and I to tease, torment, verbally engage, and enjoy each other to the absolute utmost. Beyond that, I have no expectations. Fair? Beyond that, what happens, happens. But again, I prefer the playful over the super serious and foregone conclusion-y, deep, heavy shit.
Like, in the loosest sense of the word, talk to someone right now?
What do you mean, talk to someone? You wanna like go consult, like go phone a friend or some shit?
No, like I do know.
Yes, I do know.
Talk to someone to casually date. I don't know what we do. We live in Philly, like whatever. But there like is someone that, yeah, that's what I do. I don't know what it is. Does that make sense? Maybe like 21st century.
I didn't quite catch all that, but anyway.
So anyway, there's someone I talk to who lives in Philly.
Okay.
We see each other.
That's fine.
Whatever comes with that, we talk. I don't know where that's progressing to. I still obviously casually date and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Can I tell you, I have no concerns on that for like many reasons. One, I just met you.
No, I agree. I just like
Two.
No, I'm very open to full disclosure, and I hate people being like, wait, I didn't say that. Like, yourself, like, I can do whatever I want type of thing, but I like to be honest. I appreciate open communication in any form, whether it's with a stranger, whether it's with my best friend, in any form, and you're talking about getting attached.
Let me talk. Come here.
I don't know how to let anyone else talk.
That's fine. Let me talk. So, A, totally fine with that, don't care. Secondly, reasons I don't care. One, I just met you, and I like you, but God knows I've met you once.
Yeah.
Secondly, call me arrogant. I have full confidence that if I ever cared to, I would eclipse the fuck out of whoever if I cared to, but that said, I just met you, so I don't even know if I cared to. Thirdly, what you said actually makes me feel more confident and relaxed and comfortable, because the fact of the matter is, with you in particular, because I enjoy you intellectually, I would love to like intimately snuggle and talk to you and just enjoy the ambiance of us without even like having to worry that you're gonna like, you know, try and take control of me by going down on me or something, because I know you like the blowjob. But to be fair, full disclosure. So what you're saying here is generally how I deal with this kind of a situation. It happens, not a lot, but it happens a fair amount, where a girl will disclose, it's very clear she likes me, right? But a girl will disclose that there's some other factor in her life, and she wants to see how you react to it. She wants to see, number one, that you'll be okay with it and won't judge her for it and it won't be a problem that way. She also wants to see that you can handle it in terms of you keep the right frames, you have the right understanding, etc. So we'll talk more about that in the women inside her head type of breakdown. But right now, I just want you to know this is a little sampling of the types of tactics and routines that I'll come up with in this sort of a scenario. I think there are certain types of guys in the world that are very sexually focused because sex is scarce for them. And there are guys who are not as sexually focused because, I mean, I have very high standards, but if all I want to do is go out and have sex, it's not that hard for me, right? So I'm not that concerned with that per se. I'm more concerned with, am I having a good time and am I like enjoying the getting to know you?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
No, that's definitely fair. And
so regardless of anything, whatever, let's just
I
enjoy
also
it.
want to like say something else.
Let's just stop. Let me finish, and then let me finish one sentence, and then I'll be talking. Let's just enjoy getting to know each other with nothing signed in blood, no expectations. We'll let it go however far or however not far, and just fucking enjoy the process rather than think about an outcome.
Okay, no,
is that fair? Is that fair?
No, yes.
Okay,
I 100% agree with that.
Okay.
Just,
and to be fair, I would, as much as like I'm sure you'd be very fun to like do all kinds of things with. I mean, teasing and tormenting would be equally fun, so I'm fine with that too.
So like I just try and like live like a very like honest, straightforward position.
Appreciate it.
And I just like am really enjoying hanging out with you. I think you're an awesome person, loving like the whole night and everything.
I enjoy you too.
But I want to like full disclosure. I am into this person I'm speaking to. And I think there's this whole thing between like men and women where it's like, well, if you're not into like seeing me, then I don't want to talk to you and like.
I think that's retarded.
I think it is.
Like retarded's a bad word, like these days, but that's mentally challenged, if you will.
I feel like like I wouldn't want to like you ask to hang out again, and suddenly I'm in a relationship. So I'm like, well, I need to clarify this or like whatever. If that like came to it or whatever, I'd like.
Honestly, with respect to that, this or whatever, I want like this is honest, okay? Like it's gonna sound like it might not be as honest, okay? I want you to do whatever most resonates with your values and your emotions. From moment A to moment Z.
Okay, but you have to acknowledge that most people are not like that. Most men are not like that.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I like to be honest.
I think guys.
I'm not saying this. Whatever. I go on dates, whatever, and I also talk to someone consistently. I think it's whatever. But I'm just saying, like, if whatnot turns into something more, I would still want to be your friend, and I still have a lot of fun hanging out with you.
So here's the deal. So listen, if you and I never ever had sex and we ended up being friends, that could be fun. As far as it goes, I'm a busy guy, but I'll fit you into my schedule. So I'm here and there. Here and there.
Sunday nights.
I'll invite you out when I have no plans.
When there's no one else better.
Damn, it's so modest of you. You should be like, I'm the best.
I mean, I like to be straightforward about my position.
Stop. Also, if we were to like hypothetically, now this could happen because I'm not that easy, but if we were to hypothetically like hook up or whatever, and then you were like, I like this other guy on whatever intimate level, and then you wanted to be friends, if you could handle it, I don't know if you could, but if you could handle it, I could handle it.
Friends person.
Yeah, I could handle it if you could handle it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Or if you were like, Todd, I fucking love you, and you give it to me like nobody else, and I just want to replace. I can handle that. Although
in a slower
I want to take it slow on that one because I just met you.
I would like to acknowledge that I've never been in that situation.
I want to tell you, I'm open to all three. I don't give a I care slightly, but I don't care big time about one way or another. What I think, I honestly, so I'm an economist in a weird way.
Okay.
I'm an economist of life, and so I don't believe in like trying to restrain people through like this rule or this, that, or the other. I believe people should do what they think is best for them, and that you should motivate people through value rather than through restriction. Point being, I would never, ever, ever, like if you were ever hanging out with me, if you felt obligated to hang out with me, or there's some like kind of relational constraint to hang out with me, I would hate that.
Definitely.
Let me finish. Let me talk. But if I were ever like, if we're hanging out because like we enjoy each other's company and we whatever, I'm completely fine with that, regardless of whatever other relationships you or I have.
No,
does that make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely.
But I never, ever, like, if I ever, I won't do this, but if I ever were to try and restrain you through like, we have this agreement, or like, you should feel guilty about this, like, please punch me in the face.
No, okay,
legitimately.
So, yeah, no.
Okay, I don't believe in that.
Okay, no, I want to like get my side.
So this is what I want to hear out of this. I never let anyone tell me what to do. I do whatever I want, right? This is the kind of behavior, and this is the kind of attitude that's going to lead towards her having sex with me in spite of seeing some other guy. If she's very much in the follow the rules, societally programmed sort of mode, that's not going to lead to that sort of a thing. Okay, go.
I never let anyone tell me what to do. We could be in a relationship for 5 years, like whatever, and if you tell me not to hang out with someone, fuck you, I'm gonna hang out with them. I don't care. Like, this is my life. I'm gonna do what I want. So like, I really enjoy hanging out with you. I don't know where any of this was headed, but like I do have a strong inclination towards this other person, since like I have been talking to them for like a month or so, whatever, and I don't like to shy away from things, and I like to put things out in the open, and I also, because I think it's a test of personality and how people react to that. Not that I like want to set anyone up for a test, but I also don't care to be friends with a male if they're only looking to fuck with me. Which, let's say 75% on. You know, I don't mind being hit on. I don't mind hooking up with people. But, you know, I do believe that I have more depth to me. And that occasionally I don't like acknowledge. Not all the time, but if it's someone consistent in my life, I want to acknowledge. And two, that like I don't believe in misleading people. And personally, because I don't like being misled, I like strict boundaries. I like to know. I work well, not like strict boundaries. They could be like broad boundaries, but I like to know where my boundaries are, because I don't like to disappoint people. I'm a people pleaser, and I don't want to disappoint someone because we had like miscommunication where boundaries are, or like whatever comes with that. Like, I'm a little psycho. So like all of that.
Say that again.
I'm a little no, I'm definitely psycho. Like fully, severely psycho.
I just liked hearing it. You don't need to say. I just wanted to make you say it just because I enjoyed it.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So like that's kind of. And maybe I shouldn't mention it to you, but it's my comfort zone. And I like hanging out with you, and I wouldn't want that to like stop us from doing so. And I feel like knowledge and open communication is where we prosper in any relationship. And that is my thesis statement. You good? You need a straw?
I don't know where my straw went.
I'm like, actually. Got one. You didn't get one.
I got one. It's gross, but I'm not gonna use it anymore. But I did get one. I was like, I knew I had one a second ago.
Do you want that?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I can eat like orange and raspberry mush or orange and cherry mush without a straw. But thank you.
I wasn't gonna share it.
Wow, that was like a non-offer. That was a false offer. Hi.
I have a final opinion. Final line.
Let me finish my sentence and then you can finish yours.
Because I will finish my thought.
Okay, fine. Finish yours and then I'll finish mine.
Because I don't want any relationship with any person to hinder my experience in New York. Because if I'm only in New York for this year, I want to live it up, and I don't want to be like, look back and be like, oh, I spent all my time with this person, or instantly visiting this person I liked, or like whatever. I want all of it, hard and fast, like New York experience. This is my time. This is my place. You can go.
Agreed.
Okay.
So again, these are the kind of things you want to hear. Like, think about the frame she's coming from, all this kind of stuff. These are tons of frames, tons of justifications for why it's okay to do something with me regardless of the other, right? And why is she willing to have these? Because I've kind of led her to them. I've kind of opened her up to them, and I'm conveying that I'm the right type of person for her to have that kind of relationship with, right? I'm conveying I'm a non-judgmental person. I'm conveying that There's not a lot of negative consequences, a lot of downsides to these kind of things. I've conveyed that I'm understanding, I've conveyed that I get it, I've conveyed that I'm not sexually scarce. All these kind of things that she wants in that role, right? Why? Because I listened to her sexual blueprint and I'm fulfilling that sexual blueprint. I'm a virgin too.
You're trying to get the cherry out of my mouth, in which case let me swallow first.
I approve of women swallowing, so go ahead.
I'm not going to give my opinion on that matter.
I really don't care either way, but like, it's 10% flattering, but I really don't care.
What is flattering about it?
When a girl swallows, it's flattering because it's like she wanted to take in your essence, in a way. But I really don't care. If she wants to spit, fine. I already felt what I felt. It's fine.
What if she doesn't want you to come in her mouth?
Where does she want me to come?
In her mouth, I said.
Where does she want me to come?
Oh, like elsewhere, I don't know, so she doesn't taste it. Like, I'm just curious. I'm not going to tell you my preference.
I suppose that's a culinary decision on her part, but whatever. I will say, actually, do you want to know, like, dirty male secret?
Yeah.
Okay. Dirty male secret is this. Coming in the mouth or in the most intimate of female parts is the best. However...
Uterus.
Huh? Uterus. I was thinking like pussy, but okay, whatever. Or
Same thing.
Vagina, if you prefer the medical term. But regardless, coming there or there is the best. However, if you come in the mouth and the girl goes too hard after the fact, it's very sensitive and it's a little much.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Always sensitive after coming.
I know. So, coming in the mouth, coming somewhere welcoming and warm and inviting is the best.
Warm, welcoming environment.
However,
we all want to just come into.
However, if the girl's too enthusiastic after the fact, I'd rather pull out because it can be a little sensitive after the fact. Full disclosure. Is that fair? It's like, have you ever had a guy like make you come and then afterwards like he's touching the clit and you're like, not that you'd be annoyed, but you push his hand away because you're like, that's enough. Have you ever done that?
No, but that's a different category.
It's the same kind of thing. The point is like, at a certain point, it's like too much stimulation. You're like, it was good, but like I'm done. Same kind of thing when a guy, because essentially like the male penis is the same as a female. Anyway, regardless, it's just it actually comes from the same part biologically.
No, I understand that. I just don't understand it from a personal perspective.
Have you never had a man make you come?
I was very thirsty for alcohol.
Really?
I did half marathon.
You poor dear.
Why?
I'm
Great
sorry.
sex though. I have sex whenever I want to.
That's what you think. You poor dear.
Really far. And it takes a lot of time. I mean, like...
I've never come in general. I don't ask it.
Really? Never tried? Never wanted to?
I mean, like, attempted, just like, was never into it.
12 months.
I've never watched porn, like...
I'm not gonna kiss
You're
you.
thinking I'm naive.
I'm totally not gonna kiss you right now. You poor dear.
No, I'm not a poor dear. Don't
I'm
look
promising
at it
you.
that way.
I'm not promising you
I
anything.
hate that.
No, I'm not promising you anything because I don't know if we're gonna like. I don't.
Yeah,
That's
no,
even
but
like a
I hate
whole
those,
other.
like, assumptions.
So this is good and bad, right? The fact that we're this candid and open about sex, and the fact that I've clearly had better sex than she has, and I'm like the more experienced one. That's all really good. The one thing I want to avoid here, and I'm trying to avoid it, but I also don't want to give up my frame, is that I don't want to get into a fight about this. I don't want this to become a big deal. I don't want her to become like either insecure about herself sexually and not want to have sex for that reason, or to become too like, I'll prove him wrong or he doesn't know or that kind of stuff. I don't want to create a bad vibe. So I want to, I want to avoid those kind of things. But that said, being the greater authority on sex is definitely the better position to be in than the alternative, right? You do want to avoid getting too logical and too much about me against you kind of a thing though, which I'm definitely veering dangerously close to here. Oh, it's not an assumption. It's just that, like, okay, it's not because
An assumption.
Stop.
Especially because
Stop.
you're associating it
Stop.
with me being younger, and you know
Stop.
that you're doing
I
that.
didn't even do that. I
No,
didn't
you
even think that he
are
was
on a
young.
subconscious
Okay,
level,
stop.
because
Let me
it's
talk.
systematic
Let me
way.
talk. I don't mean it in any negative way. I think it's fine. That said, when I say you poor dear, what I mean is there's this human experience that's possible that's amazing that you've not experienced. It's similar to like if you told me you've never eaten ice cream, I'd be like, you poor dear, let's go have some ice cream together.
No, I
or
disagree.
if you told me you'd never had a really good steak, I'd be like, my darling, let me take you for a filet mignon. It's if you'd like. The point is, it's not any kind of like, first of all, it's not self-interested because I've come my share of times and made my share of women come. I don't care about that. But it's just one of those things where it's like, there is this thing in the human experience, and before you die, you better experience it. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe, but also maybe not. You're talking from a male perspective. So you can't acknowledge the female perspective.
Okay.
In a natural sense.
My dear.
You can't.
I know from a female perspective you can have good sex without coming. I get it. I've had girls say that. That said, good sex with coming is empirically better than good sex without.
But there are also
it's just a fact. It's just a fact. I think that's like 1% of 1%. I think if you can't, that's like you've never had proper. I'm not. Okay.
I mean, maybe I can, but like it's not hindering my sex life.
I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying. Okay, I'm not disparaging.
But I think
I'm
you're
not.
giving me
Stop.
like a naive.
Stop. I'm not disparaging. I'm not hindering. I've once in my life been with a girl I couldn't make come. It happens, but it happened once in my life. Fine, fair enough. She was young, and I think if I whatever. It doesn't matter.
She was young. Yeah.
No.
Young girls.
No, I think if we did it, like I only did it once with her. If we did it more times, maybe I could have. But the fact of the matter, and I don't mean this disparaging. I'm sure you've had great sex as far as that goes. But what I'm saying is, don't give up on yourself.
I'm not giving up.
That's what I'm saying. Don't give up on yourself.
It's fully
Because
enjoy my sexuality and what I do or do not do. I love it all. Whether it's bad or good, I love experience. And I'm super open about sex and anti-slut shaming. And I'm not saying you're doing any of that. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to offend you.
I'm not. That's not even a category.
I'm just
not even
saying that, like, whether I do or not.
Not even a category.
But what I'm saying, whether I do or not, it does not, like, resonate with me.
I understand. Come on. Let me talk to you. Come on. I'm gonna talk to you like intimately for a second, like sort of intimately, like from 6 inches away. I understand that there are a lot of things about sex more than an orgasm. I get it. I 100% get that. And I've talked to girls who said that until they had an orgasm. But I've talked to girls who said that, and it's fine. And I
acknowledge you're being condescending, right?
Only a little bit.
You're being condescending.
A little bit.
Okay.
That said, I understand that. I do know this, though. I do know that sex with someone you care about or sex that means something to you without an orgasm can be better from a female perspective than meaningless sex with an orgasm. I get that. I understand that there's more emotional nature. I get that for sure. I don't have an issue with that. All I'm saying, my dear,
is experience it, and I will.
Is that you're very young. You're very young. And until you've had steak, you shouldn't disparage steak. Until you've had ice cream, you shouldn't disparage ice cream. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
I'm not disparaging anything else.
I'm also not promising anything. Just so you know.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm confident, but I'm not promising anything.
A lot of things.
Mm-hmm. So that was an interesting discussion, eh? Interesting look into female sexuality, and all the things that I said about female sexuality are things that I've seen borne out over and over and over again by various different girls. Also, all the things she's saying are things that a lot of girls have said. That said, in my experience, most of the girls that have not had orgasms can and will when they have proper practice and proper person with them, etc. But anyway, it's an interesting discussion nonetheless. The most important part of all that, though, is, and I was, again, dangerously close on this, not to get in too much of a frame battle and not to get into a situation where having a discussion like this ruins the vibe or makes it too combative or too confrontational. You notice a lot of times during that, I'd back off and say, I'm fine, I'm over it, I don't care, you can just be right, whatever, that kind of stuff. Because I don't want it to be too confrontational. I'm not going to admit she's right when she's not. I'm certainly not going to back down on my frame, but I'm also not going to make a big deal of it. And remember, anytime you're in an argument with a girl, there's winning and losing the argument, and then there's winning and losing the girl. And don't let winning or losing the argument get in the way of winning or losing the girl. Remember what the actual prize is, and don't get like distracted by the little like, you know, waypoints.
Combo.
You're here today? All right. You're coming with me right now. I'm going to kick you out in half an hour. Even if you ask to stay in half an hour, I'm kicking you out.
15 minutes. I'm leaving at 9:30.
Whatever. Come with me. Oh, yeah.
I'm the only one that lives far away.
Fire up my...
You live close. So I'm leaving in 15 minutes.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, currently I live very close by. I normally live in West Village, like I told you.
Okay.
But I told you I'm executive homeless right now, so I'm fucking all over the place.
In this hotel
I'm
right now?
fucking at the moment. Okay. So the deal is full disclosure. So I have my place that I'm subletting, which is in like West Village, and then I'm currently technically I'm subletting it to my employees.
Okay.
Does that make sense at all? So basically my employees all stay there. And I could stay there, but I technically gave up my part of the apartment to one of my employees, and he's paying me rent for it. So if I were to step in and be like, fuck you, give me a room, that would be like weird.
Yeah.
So I currently have like a segment of my own life back, basically, so to speak.
Okay.
So since I just got back from Europe, I'm essentially like transient and itinerant, if that makes sense. I don't know if itinerant even works. Itinerant worker, right?
So you're taking women to your hotel room.
I like that you made that plural. Your estimation of me is fun.
Maybe. Possibly.
Well, because women wouldn't fit.
Yeah.
It sounds better as women.
Woman instead of women.
Yeah, I think that's a better fit in general. That it like, so you're taking a woman to your hotel room. Sounds weird, but if you're saying
like that's literally like
take
exactly
women,
like verbatim, dude.
then like it's chill.
Obviously, this is all, you know, looking pretty good, et cetera, et cetera. There's like they're very minor shit tests, et cetera. The interesting thing that was going through my mind at this point was like, there's other people in this elevator. Like, this is a pretty fucking like interesting, intense conversation with other people there. But A, I'm keeping the focus on me, and I'm being very focused on her. And B, I haven't been judgmental this whole time. I'm not being judgmental now. So if she doesn't have a problem with it, I'm not gonna have a problem with it. A lot of guys would fuck it up right here though, because they'd like get timid or get like scared of the social pressure with all the other people around. You cannot do that. You have to fucking stand your ground. And if what you're doing is normal and you believe in it, you have to just go with it. I think you find that more chill. Yeah. That's actually quite amusing as far as that goes. No.
Yeah.
You're a very interesting combination of like cocky and modest, actually.
I'm super modest.
I probably had to like Lower East Side like
Super
I don't know,
modest,
part of like fucking
Oh yeah.
like 2 hours.
What's modest about you?
I'm a Catholic girl.
What's that?
It's not modest.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Because you have a stereotype.
Your modesty
about
isn't like defined by your ideology; it's defined by you.
Yeah. Well, I think
Y'all seeing like
conform to that in some ways.
kind of.
In some ways, I
Ich klappe van
Right.
ik klapte het duim dicht, dat is kapot.
Not even like
In some ways you conform, in some ways you don't. No, but okay. So, final little thing logistically here. You'll notice what we're talking about on the way back to the room is not crazy intimate, especially now that we're outside the elevator and we're going to the room. The last thing I want is to like try and escalate and have any kind of resistance, right? I'm in a winning situation. Good things can happen once we're in the room. My whole goal is get into the room without fucking it up. So I'm just going to keep talking. I'm just going to tell a story. I'm going to talk about like psychological experiments. Why not? I'm just going to talk about whatever the fuck. And especially as we're going into the room, I'm going to try and keep the conversation flowing and going so she's not stopping and questioning, not stopping and thinking actively about what's going on.
What's that?
Have you ever looked at like twin studies? You've done psychology, right? You know twin studies, right? Okay, so do you remember how they said like different twins like separate at birth? One's raised Buddhist, one's raised Catholic, or one's raised whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And so the similarity is in the devoutness with which they followed various religions.
Okay.
But like obviously if one was raised one was raised the other, they followed the one that they were, that culturally made sense for them.
Okay.
right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about like what ideology you were raised with. I'm talking about you.
No, and
Like, and to be fair, I'm not curious about I'm curious about you because I'm like hanging out with you, not with your ideology.
Yeah, no, and I understand that, but Twin Cities in that sense is completely different. Because
'Cause you're
those
not
are
a-
studying
'cause you're not a
nature
twin?
versus nurture.
Mm-hmm.
And for myself, I only have what was nature for me and what was nurture for me.
Okay.
And I think that religion does play like a relatively important role
In
just like
No,
who
I
am as a
understand.
person.
But like devoutness is different than that's weird. The one did worse than the other did. But whatever. I was like, what the fuck? I thought for a minute there, I forgot where I lived. So there you see it, from meet all the way to walking into the hotel room. Pretty interesting interaction on a lot of levels. A lot of different, not that unusual in obstacles, but definitely different obstacles that a lot of guys have trouble with came up during that interaction. So a lot to learn from there. Now let's go a little bit deeper and look at it from inside of her head.